Yeah. My goodness, we are on the live. My goodness, what a day! What a beautiful day for us to gather again and to relax and chill and learn and study together. I'm pretty sure that you are doing well because you went to church. I'm hoping and I'm hoping that you're doing very, very good. And that is what we are here for. We are here that you will do good also. We are trusting that you'll also do great because we are here on the live and we want to learn together. We have a packed but not so packed show. So we are going to go forward today. And before we proceed, we want to welcome you to the Life and Health Show with Dr. Ortain and my co-host,
Gifty Oteng.
Gifty Ortain, also pharmacist. And we are here to learn together as we always say. So if you are joining us, we just want you to hit the share button like I'm doing right now and share the stream with us so that we will get more people with us. So I'm hoping that you could do that if you haven't already done that while we gather more people so that we will roll together. My goodness, we are here and ready to roll. All right, so today again is August the 13th, 2023, and we welcome you to the Life and Health Show. So today, our health tip, as we always do every week, we have a health tip for you, right? And this week, our health tip is actually going to be something fun. We are thinking that you should be taking a vacation, and I think this is not the first time we actually talked about this. We had, I think, what was it last year or so? We did talk about taking a rest. That's the key right here. And so we want to share with you our own sample rest or vacation that we took while we talk about the importance of taking a rest. As you probably know, when God made the earth, He made it in 6 days, and on the seventh day, He rested. And so the question is, if God Himself rested in after His work, how much less you and I? Some of us, if we are allowed to work throughout the year, we will work forever. Oh my goodness. Because we know that when we work, we get more money. And some people too, not just the money, the fun of working, rising up and going to work every day is something that we cherish so much that even if we are told to take a break, we don't want to. But for you to be healthy, you need rest. That is why even in our regular schedules, we work, for most people at least, we work from Monday to Friday, and or even if you work throughout the week, you have a day or so many days off just so that you rest. But we're talking about taking a vacation, and this last week we went on a short trip to Niagara Falls in Canada, and Annie, I want you to share what was your experience about that. Do you feel like you liked it? And
Yeah, so going to Canada, where we are located, it's not, I thought the drive was going to be long, but it took us only 6 hours to get there. And we spent a whole day over there, and the view, oh
spent
my
more than a day
goodness,
actually.
more than a day, but
Yeah.
like a full day. We spent on, we saw the falls, and it was so beautiful. You can really admire the is the natural fall, right? It's not man-made.
Yes.
And you can see it, look at it close up with the boat ride. I think this one is the boat ride.
Yeah.
And it was so relaxing. The night view was also
That's
spectacular.
awesome.
And you see the color change. I think they are throwing lights on there. And there was fireworks. That
Oh,
was
it's
also
fireworks.
relaxing. So it was time for family. We were all relaxed, and we talked, we put our phones to the side. We don't have anywhere to go, so we were stuck with each other, and it forced us to be closer. We asked the kids what they are like their goals, what they are pursuing. Like there was intimacy, and it was very good. It was very relaxing. So
My
that wasn't a
goodness.
bad vacation, I would say.
My goodness. My goodness. That makes me happy. That makes me happy to feel that the wifey enjoyed it. That's a good thing to know. All right. All right. So our key that what has brought us into talking about this is we encourage you to take breaks from work. If you follow us closely, I think it was just yesterday, I posted a video about addiction. Some people are addicted not only to substances, alcohol and drugs, but they are addicted to work. Some people are addicted to work, but in your health, you need a break. So take a break, take a week off. And amazingly, this was one of the least expensive trips we have taken because, first of all, we didn't have to fly. Those of you who live around the New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts area, this is an easy drive vacation. 6 hours, 6 hours, 30 minutes, you are there, kind of like going to DC on a drive and spend a couple of days and just chill and relax a little bit. The year is already past halfway through. So if you haven't taken any rest, the key is rest. It doesn't really matter where you go, but the key is rest. But if you can go to an affordable place like we did, you know, it's even better. So take out the family, relax a little bit, and rejuvenate your body and take that rest. For that is good for your health. So that is our health tip for the week. My goodness. My goodness. All right. So, with that being said, we are going to move on to our health, our topic for today. Our topic for today is actually following through with what we did before. Was yesterday, last week we talked about, building new habits that makes you be the best version of yourself. So today we are going to do Q&A. We're going to do questions and answer time about how you can use habits and lifestyle changes to arrive at the best version of yourself. We've been talking about habits for so many weeks now, and we want to give people the opportunity to ask questions. So if you are joining us on the live, it's even better because we want to see your questions on the live. And if you are also watching after the live show during the replay, you can still ask your questions because we are going to make sure that we go through the videos and watch the video to see your questions and respond to them. So we definitely need this to be very interactive. And before we continue, we just want to see if you are there. Make sure that you hit the like button, the share button, and make sure that other people are following so that we can roll together. But write down your questions because we want to basically talk about the potential questions. We actually asked ChatGPT what are some of the questions that people are most likely going to ask us of all the topics that we have discussed, and Chat has given us a lot. If you trust Chat, he will also give you your best. So we got some questions that we are going to answer ahead of you thinking through and bringing your own questions. But we definitely want the live questions too. Hopefully, some of the questions are those that we have already written down. But it's even better if we can have you bring your own questions. All right. So that is what we are about to do on today's show. I don't know. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to roll then. So our first slide, we're going to talk about the outline. Our first thing is we are going to talk a little bit about what we did last week, just as a refresher. We're going to talk about how to build the new habits. We just want to refresh our minds so that when we go to the next one, which is basically talking about the questions and answers on habits and lifestyle, at least it will make sense for you if you are joining us for the first time. Those of you who have been watching, it is time for you to bring your questions and your comments. If you don't have a question, but you have a contribution on a point or so that we made that you agree or you disagree, just bring your point out and let's roll together. All right. We can move
Yeah.
forward.
Let's
All
move
right.
on.
So then, our first slide here. I don't know why this came first, but hey, we'll talk about it. So, This is basically the habit loop. It's talking about the triggers of. Actually, I know why. I think I moved ahead of myself, but yeah, let me just go back to yes. So we are actually going to go through what the slides say. So the first one is a review, right? See if I got it right this time. Yes. And the review is what are some of the things that you do to build new habits. To build new habits. That is what we did last week, right? And the first one is to set clear intentions. Set clear intentions.
Yeah, so we talked about you being specific, what you want to achieve. So you are not just going to be vague. You're not going to be not sure of what you are about. You have to know what you are up to, what you want to achieve, what habits, good habits you want to build. So you have to put pen to paper and write down what are your intentions. So some people, beginning of the year, they will be like, "Oh, these are my things I want to achieve for the year." So when you want to build a habit, you don't want to be vague. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve your goal. You have to write down. You have to be specific. That's what we meant by set clear intentions.
Set clear intentions. My goodness. So that is one. The other thing is to start small. So we talked about this last week. So to start small, if you want to do something new, you want to form a new habit. Perchance, as an example, maybe you were not somebody who exercise, and now you want to start exercising. You can't just start one day and do a marathon. You probably will learn better or be able to adapt to your new lifestyle by doing little incremental changes. So instead of a full marathon, maybe you will run for 100 meters. If instead of a 100-meter run, maybe you just jog. Just starting at a smaller pace that which you can contribute and control, have more control over, is going to encourage you to proceed on with that new habit, however new and whatever it is. We don't know what you want to begin to do, but generally speaking, whatever you want to do, you have to start small. You can't start walking as a baby and start running right off the bat. You got to start with small baby steps, and then once your foot have gained grounds on the ground, then you can start trotting or jogging, and then a full running begins. So starting small is a very important step to forming new habits.
Okay.
Want to take the next one?
Yeah, and we also talked about trigger, action, rewards. So I think we talked about the loop, habit loop, right? So there is a trigger. There is something that makes you act certain way. So that is the trigger or the cue. And after you've gotten the cue down, then you start to behave certain way. Then after the behavior, you feel a reward. So we talked about how that loop is formed. We mentioned brain conditioning and how you are able to think about a reward as soon as the trigger comes without really thinking through the process. So we talked about that. If you want more details, I think last week video we give you more details.
Definitely. We don't want to spend too much time on that. So basically, go back and watch the last video. But just like she said, trigger, every behavior starts with a trigger or something that initiates or causes you to do something. So that's the cue or the trigger. And then the behavior is what you actually do when you see that trigger or that cue. And then the reward is what you feel as the result of doing that behavior, whether it is internal brain, neurotransmitter secretion that makes you feel good, or receiving a physical reward that everybody can tell. So if you want to do something new that you haven't done before, you have to make sure that it abides by these three things. What makes you do it, what you do, and then what reward do you get. If you don't get any reward, you may stop along the way. And remember, we mentioned that somebody who wants to become healthy by eating healthy or exercising must look beyond the physical pain that they may endure now and think about the rewards in the future. That if you know about those rewards, that will cause you to go ahead and do the right thing. So definitely check out and make sure that whatever you want to do conforms to this loop. because especially without a reward, you may easily give up, and you have to be conscious about what reward you are actually getting. And the next one we talked about last week was what? To celebrate progress. Celebrate progress. And we said that if you are doing something anew and you don't celebrate your progress, it doesn't, you don't get motivation to move forward with more. So I'm going to use more of the same examples because they are easy to understand. For example, you want to lose weight. If you lost 1 pound and you don't celebrate that, yeah, I lost 1 pound. If you lose 5 pounds, it won't make any sense. You can't wait till you lose 10 pounds before you celebrate. So if your goal is to lose 10 pounds and you lose 1 pound, celebrate it. By celebrating it, it brings motivation. It gives you, the impetus to continue to do more because now you know that 1 pound is important. So perhaps 2 pounds is going to be more important. So celebrate the little achievements along the way. That way you can proceed with whatever you want to do as a new habit. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, and the last one we talked about developing consistency. So you want to be consistent. You just don't start something new and drop alongside the way. You have to consistently do it. So if it's eating right, you make sure that your grocery shopping is consistent. You don't let the price deter you for next shopping, because buying healthy stuff is costing you so much. We mentioned that you have to be consistent. You have to continue to do what you're doing in order to achieve your aim, in order to build that habit. You cannot just do it 2 days. And we also mentioned that it takes about 21 days to build a healthy habit, a good habit. So to form a good habit. So you cannot just do it 3 days and you're tired. You have to be consistently continue it and to get to that point.
My goodness, that's a good way to start our show. All right, so that is the review of what we learned last week, forming new habits. Whatever new lifestyle you want to start, or whatever old lifestyle you want to break, if you follow these principles. Of course, we also had a video about breaking those old, bad, dangerous habits. So make sure you follow and check those out. If you are watching and you are not subscribed or you are not following our channel, make sure that you do a follow. That way you won't miss any of them. And also within the week, we post some interesting videos, short clips of some of the things we talked about, and sometimes not related at all. So we are hoping that you will follow as we move forward. So yeah, with that out of the way, we just want to encourage you to subscribe, comment, share, like, and do all the good stuff. Give us some stars. I'm saying, give some stars. I still haven't seen any stars.
Let
My
us know
goodness.
that you are watching.
My
You can
goodness.
say hello,
My
hi.
goodness.
Yes.
My goodness. Yeah, it's important. We got to feel. You got to have a sense of love, man. I like to feel that people are out there, liking it. So if you are not liking, you are not subscribing, we don't know if we're doing good or not. And I'm pretty sure we're doing good, right? All right. So let us know. Let us know by commenting and give us some stars. Give us some stars. Let it cost you a little bit because it costs us to bring this to you every Sunday evening. All right. All right. So we will proceed and go on to our questions and answers for today. And again, I encourage you, if you are watching, we want to answer your questions about the last few shows we've had on habits, dangerous habits, how to break dangerous habits, how to be the better version, or as a matter of fact, the best version of yourself, what lifestyle changes you're facing, what difficulties you are encountering in trying to do something new. Maybe you're trying to exercise, but there's something that is, give us those questions. And if you are joining us live, let us have them now. If you are joining us later, don't forget to still, whenever you watch this, make sure you still give those questions. We're gonna stay up to look for those comments and questions that we haven't, or that we are not going to touch on. So, but those of you watching, we would definitely appreciate if you give us your questions or your comments or whatever points we missed on the way that you want to add. We'll be glad to share with our audience. All right. So now the first question that we have on the floor is, how do I know if a habit is dangerous? My goodness, that's a good one. How do I know if a habit is dangerous? You want to start that or you want me to?
Yeah, so how do I know if a habit is dangerous?
Mm-hmm.
So if the habit affects you negatively, so if it affects your well-being, if it affects your health, if it affects your relationships, if it affects uh, your overall quality of life,
Mm,
if it does, then it's a dangerous habit.
mm,
That's how you know.
mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that's the general gist. If you know, you know.
If you know,
So,
my goodness.
so if whatever the behavior is, the habit is, if it affects you, or if it affects your health, right? Or it affects your relationship, the way that you act, if overall your quality of life is affected, then it's if it's affected negatively,
Negatively,
then it means that you have a dangerous habit.
it means that you have a dangerous habit. My goodness, that is deep. Dangerous habit. So that is how you know if a habit or a character, I should say, or a behavior that you have is dangerous. Because if if it does not affect you negatively, and I would even add,
Mhm.
if it does not affect other people negatively,
Relationship.
yes, then it may not be a dangerous habit. The key is, if it does affect other people negatively, but for you it's okay, it's still a dangerous habit because other people are getting hurt by your habits, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so it's not just you, but the people around you, your relationships, your family, or people who are not even your family, the people you work with. You have a certain lifestyle or habit that makes people, some people are scared to see you at your at a place of work because you carry a sense of danger. Like, whenever you are around, people are going to be written up, people are going to either be losing their jobs, people are going to be facing problems, facing some kind of a negative impact because of your demeanor, because of the way you carry yourself. It's like, as for you, when you're coming, you are a danger walking. Then that particular habit, it may not affect you, it's affecting other people negatively. So it's a dangerous habit. My goodness, I like
And also maybe your the way that your aggression, like
your
you're
aggressive
saying, you are
behavior.
so aggressive, so it's not affecting you per se, but the people that are receiving that action is affecting them negatively. So that can be a dangerous
That
habit.
is a dangerous habit. So that is the first question, and that is our answer to it. Now let's go on to the next question. Our next question is: can all habits be broken? That's another good one. Can all habits be broken? Remember, we talked about breaking dangerous habits. And so the question now is: can all habits be broken? You want me to start?
Yes.
All right. So I would say all habits can be broken, but the caveat is that it may take longer for some habits to be broken as against others. An entrenched habit, a habit that has been, remember when we talked about what a habit is something that your brain has, basically formed neural pathways to, such that you don't think about it. They just happen because you have done it over and over, and the rewards to the brain are so that it just happens. If it's so entrenched, it may take it a while. It may take you a while to be able to break or stop those habits. But ultimately, it is breakable.
Mhm.
As long as you take the necessary steps, you can still break the habits. So I don't know if you want to talk about an example of using drugs.
Mm.
You know, you
Yeah, continue.
yeah. So if you talk about using drugs such as like crack or cocaine, when you do drugs, you know, your brain form some nerve pathways that make you feel that, the euphoria, the joy, that particular chemical sensation in you that makes you feel so good over time, because your brain has enjoyed that particular use of the drug for all those times, however long it may be, you can probably just rise up one day and say that I am done with this. So for such a habit, it may take you a while to be able to break it. Unlike somebody else may have done drug maybe a couple of days, the brain has not done any formations of nerve endings, touching other nerve endings to make sure it is easier for them to know. So they just started. So for them, it's really not become a habit yet. It's a behavior that has not been repeated over a long period. So that person can say that I quit, and they will be able to quit just by saying it, because it's not entrenched in their brain makeup any more than it has to. So it becomes easier. Or other lifestyle habits, such as you know eating 18 in the night. You say nocturnal eaters, right? People eating in the night. You can one day say that, I'm not going to eat in the night anymore. It's a habit, but it's easier to stop something like that. However hard it may be to you, but compare that to somebody who is hooked on drugs, who is addicted, to drugs, or who is alcoholic. So yes, all habits are breakable, but it depends on the nature of the habit. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, so it also depend on the individual. How persistent are you? So if you are trying to break a habit, like you gave the examples, it may take longer, but as long as you're persistent, as long as you really want to get through that, it's possible that you can break that habit. So all habits, I can say that all habits can be broken as long as the individual involved and the nature of the habit is in there. If it's so complex or it's been done for so long, like you mentioned, right? It may take long, but at the end of the day, it's possible to break the habit.
Still possible to break that habit. My
So
goodness.
don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope.
It's possible.
My goodness. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope at all. All right. So that is our second question on the live. Still waiting for more questions to come in. So if you are watching, just bring your questions and your comments, because today is a Q&A section. We just want to make sure that we hit all those things that we have not hit over a long period. And questions that we may have as far as this issue of lifestyle development and personal development with habits are concerned. All right. So the next one is third question. Third question is, what are triggers? What are triggers? You may have watched and you may have seen. We talk about habit triggers and all that. What are triggers? That is the next question on the live.
Okay, so triggers can be cues that initiate or start a habit. So triggers can be like internal or external. So external can be maybe the time of the day. If it's like, is it morning or the friends that you are with? Or it can be internal, meaning that your emotions at that particular time. Are you stressed? Are you anxious? That can be a form of trigger. So anything that come your way that make you act certain way, that can be a trigger.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Yes, so triggers are the cues that you have, the things that make you do the
What you
behavior
do.
or whatever it is that we're talking about. If you have a bad habit, whatever triggers you to do it. For example, you drink alcohol. There may be something that makes you think about alcohol. That thing that makes you think about alcohol and drink it is the trigger. We were talking about, I think on one of our shows, we said that for some people, what happens is they don't really want to be social drinkers. It is they just want to roll with the boys or to roll with the girls. It's just a boys' night out. It's Friday, it's Saturday, it's a weekend after a week long work. If you have a weekend, you got to chill a little bit, right? So hang out with the boys, hang out with the girls, and they go out. So the cue in this sense is the need to hang out. But the unfortunate thing is, once they are hanging out, the behavior that happens is drinking. So yes, your cue is go out, hang out with the boys, but the behavior that results from that trigger is you go and you drink. So that is what happens when we talk about triggers. So triggers are the things that make you do whatever it is that you do, whether it is good or bad. And so if you are able to determine what to do for each trigger, or perhaps change the trigger, change the cue, then you are going to have a better lifestyle. You're going to live a better version of yourself. So in this example that I just said, if the cue or the trigger is hang out, you need to socialize, be around people, go out with friends, which we encourage. We don't want people. We actually had a show and we talked about people not don't be lonely. Hang out with their friends. If that is the cue, that is the trigger that I'm going out because I can't stay home alone. Fine, we like that. But then what is the behavior that results? So if you can change the behavior, for example, when you go out and there's social drinking, you decide to do something else. Or as I think Dipti was telling me before the show, you can also choose different kinds of groups of people to hang out with who do not believe in social drinking. So they may hang out, but it may be at a golf course, play golf and be healthy.
Another example that I can add is sometimes you find yourself screaming or yelling or being very irritable around people, and you realize that it has become your habit. You are easily angered, and people around you cannot relax. They are always sitting on an egg. Or maybe when you're coming home from work, you are ready to yell and scream at every first person that meets you. You are never relaxed. So that is a habit, right? So what is the trigger? What is making you behave this way? It's likely that it's stress. So you are stressed from your daily activity. So you're coming home, and because of the stress, it's making you act certain ways. So what is fueling the behavior is how you're feeling emotionally. You are stressed. And because of that stress, you are acting certain way. So that becomes a trigger. So like we were talking about how to build new habits, right? So if you realize you know what your trigger is, then there is a way that you can deal with that. You know that, oh, whenever I'm stressed, I act this way. So this is my trigger. Stress is my trigger. So what can I do in order to behave differently? Then I know that trigger whenever I'm stressed this way. So what can I do? So maybe deep breathing, right? Or relaxing after work, taking it easy after work. That is how you're dealing with your stress so that the behavior or the habits do not come to play.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. So that is triggers are going to be there. That's the fun thing is you may not be able to change the triggers. The triggers are always going to come, but what you choose to do, the behavior or the habit that you form for that trigger, that you have power over all the time. You always have a power over it, and that's what we hope that you are going to be doing.
So identifying your triggers can be very important.
Yes.
Me, for instance, I know that when I'm hungry, extremely hungry, I don't think about the kind of food. I would just start eating anything that I see. So that's my trigger, right? So knowing your trigger will help you figure out how you can break a bad habit. So triggers are very important.
Definitely.
Cues. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So if you are watching, I think we have one comment, and he said education in interaction. That's good, but we want you to bring your questions. So I like that. My goodness. Bring your questions also. I'm pretty sure that you are enjoying yourself watching. If you are watching, don't forget to also bring your comments. And I've seen some likes and thumbs up. Keep doing that also. All right. So that, I think we can go on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
So the next one after that is, we actually needed to use this to answer that question too for the habit. But I think we said enough about that. If you know the cues, then you know the cues are the triggers. So if you know the cue and the trigger, then the behavior that you choose becomes something that is in your hand. And if you choose the right behavior and you get a reward, you are automatically going to repeat those and then you form a new habit. So that is how new habits are formed. The cues are always going to come, but the behavior that you choose and the rewards that you get from those are going to make sure that you repeat so that you become the new person that you want to be. All right, so that being on the side, the fourth question that we have from the people that watch is, how can I stay motivated and committed? How can I stay motivated and committed? You know, talking about habits, a new lifestyle, healthy eating. We talked about healthy eating as a new lifestyle that you can build. We talked about, not overeating as a new lifestyle that you can build. We talked about sleeping good as a new lifestyle that you can build. We talked about exercising as a new lifestyle. We talked about not drinking alcohol as a new lifestyle. All those things are good. But how can I stay motivated? How can I stay motivated? That is the question that we have now. And I will start. So, in order to stay motivated, first of all, you have to celebrate the little achievements along the way. Little things. Again, if you don't value the little successes that you get along the way, then you are not going to be motivated to do more. So, for example, we use the example of exercising as one. Come on, one, right? If you decide that you're going to be consistently exercising from now, because you've been watching us and every day we are mentioning exercise, it is good. You may not be able to, do 50-pound weightlifting. You may not be able to do 20-pound weight lifts. You may not be able to bench 30 pounds. You may not be able to run 1 mile on a treadmill. You may not be able to even do anything that is major. But the thing is, starting small, as we have said, and celebrating those achievements that you get will motivate you to begin to go to a higher level. So the first one is get little celebrations for any little successes along the way. Whatever it is, whatever behavior you are trying to break, or whatever behavior you are trying to adopt, whatever new self you want to be, you have to celebrate the little successes along the way.
Yeah, and you can also put the reason why you are doing what you're doing at the forefront of your brain. You have to think about the whys, right? Why am I doing this? Why is it necessary to follow through with my doctor annually? So if you know why, then that will keep you motivated to keep doing it. Why is it that I want to eat healthy? So that I can be there for my grandkids, so that I can age graciously, or I can age with less, problems, health issues, so that I wouldn't have stroke or heart attack. So if you know your whys, it helps you stay motivated. Why is it that it's necessary for me to exercise every morning? Because I want to be healthy. I want my head a heart health. I want my heart to be healthy. I want to be able to move around easily. I want to feel a little lighter. So your whys will keep you motivated and committed, so that you keep going. You keep doing what you're. But if you don't know your whys, it's likely that it's going to fall alongside. You're not going to be consistent.
Right.
You're not going to be consistent because you don't even know why you are doing what you're doing. So, but if you know what the reason behind your action, is going to help you to keep going on, keep doing what you're doing, and that will make you form this habit, and it'll keep you going.
Definitely, definitely. And it cuts across all the other habits that we want you to form and that you want to form. Not that we want you to, but you want to form. We know you want to become the best version of yourself, right? And so if you don't know why you have to run, if you don't know why you have to socialize, then of course it will make no sense trying to run because running hurts, exercising hurts. Yeah, when we went on the vacation, you know, it's a vacation, but we had to park our car and walk
Walk.
to the fall, back and forth each time we went to watch the fall. And it wasn't easy. At some point, I was feeling some achiness, some soreness in my knee. But because of why I went there, I said, hey, I came here to watch the fall. I can't just stay in my hotel because my knee is bothering me a little bit. That's not the point. I got to go and watch it. So I walked the next day too and walked to watch it. So if you know the why, you will yield yourself onto the thing that you want to do. So people may judge you. People may be like, "Huh, you can't do this. You think it's easy? Yeah, it's not easy. But do you know why? If you know the why, you can stay motivated. So the key to staying motivated is knowing your why. Without your why, you can be, and people will discourage you easily. Even sometimes your own family members can discourage you because they know your strengths. They know you. So you think you can really do exercise for 1 year continuously without stopping? Nah, you can do it.
You say it all the time.
You
You
say
can
it
do it.
all the time. You think you can change your diet so much like that? You yourself, you can stop eating pizza all the time. You can stop eating these burgers and fries all the time. There's no way you can do it. They will refer you. And if you look on those, you probably will agree. But then, do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Do you know the benefits of changing your diet? Do you know the benefits of running and doing exercise daily? Do you know the benefits of living a healthier lifestyle? Being around, not just for long. Some people say that we will die anyway. Yeah, you will die. But would you rather be in wheelchair and be moved around and suffer pain and aches all the time for
Get bed
get
sores.
bed sores before you die? Or would you rather live a healthy life until the time you leave? So those things must motivate you. So knowing your why will serve as the motivation. That's why older folks like the people we are watching now would still exercise. So you think that they're about to leave the earth. Why are they bothering themselves, right? This 80-year-old, 70-year-old, what do they need? Yeah, they know the why. They rather keep walking and able to drive and take care of their grandkids and enjoy their lives rather than to become burdens to other people. And because of that why, they will exercise. So know your why. That is how you learn to become the better version of yourself. That's why you know. Anything you want to
Okay.
add? We can go. All right. So with that, we'll go to the next one, which is the question is how do I replace bad habits with healthy ones? That's another good one. How do I replace bad habits? All of us have some bad habits, unless you are not living on this sinful earth. If you are in heaven and you are watching, then pardon me, you are not part of the all of us. But those of us on earth, we know that there's something you could do better. There's some lifestyle change that you can make. At least for me, I don't know about you, but I know that there are a lot of things that I can improve on, and so the question is really appropriate. How do I replace a bad habit, a bad behavior, bad character with new healthy ones?
How?
How?
So it's more like identifying why you do certain things. So what do I really want? That's why I do certain things. Why do I do certain things? You know. So for example, what example can I use? It's like uh
Overeating.
overeating. Okay. So why do I overeat? Because maybe when I'm reading, I'm bored and I just want to munch on something. So the reason why I'm overeating is because of boredom.
Mm.
So identifying why you do certain things will help you replace the bad behavior with a good behavior. So if you don't know why you're doing certain things, then there is no way to, you wouldn't know how to replace
Replace
it.
it.
So boredom. Okay. So maybe instead of munching on maybe the salty chips, right? Maybe I can replace it with something healthier. End of the day, I don't feel bored because I'm chewing something, but whatever I'm chewing is healthy, is good for my body over the salty alternative that is out there. So we should be able to identify why we do certain things so that we'll be able to replace the bad behavior with the good behavior. So identification is one thing that we can think about.
Definitely, definitely know what it is that you're doing, why you're doing that, and then replace it with something else. And I'm going to fall back to the same example that I used earlier on the drinking part. Social drinking as an example, right? If people are going out with friends and the reason they are going out with them is to become connected, to have a social connection, to feel belong. They are alone, and at a weekend they want to roll with the girls or roll with the boys. Just hang out with the boys. So that's a good thing. But drinking at the hangout, it's not a good thing. So if you want to replace drinking alcohol at the hangout, there are a couple of things. And the first one that you can do is to change the people that you socialize with. You can still go out and socialize, like we said, go to golfing instead, or go to church instead, or some other place where there's no drinking. That is one. The other thing is to replace the act of drinking at the hangout with a different act. As I was saying, drinking alcohol can be replaced with drinking water. My goodness. As I was saying last time, a friend of mine was asked, "Do you drink?" by a professor, and then he said, "Yes, I drink. I drink water." So yes, you can go out with those people, but instead of drinking alcohol to feel belong, you can drink water, you can drink juice, you can drink some other healthy stuff. But the temptation there may be greater, so you have to have a different kind of level of willingness to be able to do that. But yes, that is how you replace bad habits. So whatever habit that you are doing, like I'm saying, the trigger or the cues may not change. You may not be able to change them all, but you can change the result, the action that you take. If you can change the cue, even better. But most of the time, you cannot change the cue. So that is what you do in that respect. So I think we have another comment here. Let's see if it's something we can read. He says, this is Mike. Mike is saying, can your environment make you prone to certain bad habits? And I think that is a very important question. That is a very important question right there. So I don't know. Are we done with the other question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then we will attempt to answer that question. I'll keep it on again. It says Mike's question is, can your environment make you prone to certain bad habits? And I encourage you, if you are waiting, if you are watching, please send us your questions. Let's interact together. Thank you very much, Mike, for bringing that question. So his question is on the floor. Can your environment help make you prone to certain bad habits? And I think the answer is yes. Yes, the answer is very much so. If you are surrounded or you are living in an environment where most people there are drug users, the chances of you becoming a drug user is high, very, very high, just because that's all that is around you. And that is why we shouldn't blame people who do drugs just for blaming sake. You don't know their experience. You don't know the environment where they got born, where they grew up. Where we live now, we barely see anybody because we are in the forest, right? So for us to see somebody who is doing drugs will take a long shot. But somebody who is in an area where the entire neighborhood is surrounded by drug users, that person can easily pick up a behavior like that, a habit like that. And so, yes, your environment can definitely influence you. And not just that, just use that as an example. You have another example?
So somebody from abusive family.
Abusive home, yeah.
Yeah, so like you're growing up, you've been abused. The chance of you being abusive to other people is very high
My
because
goodness.
that has been your environment.
That's your
That's where
environment.
you've grown to know that the way that it's more like, sometimes it's more like how to survive. You have to do certain things. Some people are very aggressive. Whatever they do, they are ready to fight. Every little thing, they take off their shirts and they're ready to fight. It's not that, it's just that that's how they were brought up, or the environment was like that,
It's
in
a
such a way that they have to
survival.
survive.
Yeah.
So that's how they've come out to be, because of the environment. And sometimes to some people pick certain bad habits from their by learning or looking at, or maybe the environment is such that they praise such behavior. Somebody like some cultures such that everything is like they attribute it to the witches and the wizards and the evil spirits. So the way that they are growing is such that somebody is always after them.
Somebody.
So they live on the edge all the time. Instead of them finding solution to problems, they attributed the problem to something else, outside force that is after them. Because of the way that they've been brought up, their mind, their thinking, their mindset, everything is around that kind of thing. So they have picked that behavior because of the environment that they grew up from.
My
So
goodness.
definitely.
My goodness. That is deep. That was a very important question, especially after all that treatment. It's very good that we bring this up because if not, we may be missing a lot. So yes, your environment can definitely shape in your behavior and your character for that matter. All right. So with that being said, we'll go on to our next questions that we have prepared. And our next question is it better to quit bad habit cold turkey or gradually? Is it better to quit a bad habit cold turkey or gradually? That is another question on the live. So let's explain what is cold turkey anyway. Turkey is always in the fridge,
Cold.
so why should you say cold turkey unless they are alive, right? Well, cold turkey literally just means that you are stopping abruptly without any influence. Just one day you stand up and I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this thing anymore. That's what we mean cold turkey. So some people can stop smoking cold turkey. I don't know why it's cold turkey, but why
Cold turkey.
why is it not cold or whatever? Anyway, yeah. So that is the question. Is it better to stop a behavior, a bad habit, cold turkey or abruptly, or to stop slowly? That was the question. You want to start
Yeah.
off?
So I think it depends on the individual or the person, right, that is trying to quit. Because it depends on your strength too, or how far that habit has been practiced. So it can be that you are a very strong-willed person and you decide on something, you get it done. So it depends on the personality of the individual. Some people will need more time, or it also depend on the habits that you're trying to break. Some people have just done it for less than a year or two. So such habits will be easier to just break it out cold turkey with no help at all. But some habits are so complex that you cannot just stop it. You have to gradually get there. You cannot just stop one day, you're like, okay, I stop. Especially if example would be what the drugs, right? You've been doing drugs for so long, and the euphoria or whatever you get out of the drug is such that if you decide to stop cold turkey, the rebound or the withdrawal symptoms will be such that you can't handle it. You go back to the drug because the feeling will be so weird that you would want to replace the drug right away. So it depends on the habits that you're trying to break and the person who is trying to break the habit.
Definitely. And then I would also add, oh, we had another comment from our sister Rosemary Ortiz. Thank you. She's saying it's right, or you are right. And I'm still waiting for more questions and comments on the live. So if you are watching us, don't forget, bring your comments. If you learned something and you want to share, bring it up also. And if you have any ideas also, if you don't have a question but you have something to share, feel free to also share. We are learning together. All right, so the question is it better to stop something abruptly or cold turkey or to do it gradually? As Gifty has explained, it depends on the person. Some people are very strong willed. Some people will just say that me, if I say I'm stopping something, I stop. And so they will be the cold turkey guys or girls, right? They can stop anything. You wake up one day and say that, you know what, I'm not going to maltreat my wife anymore. Cold turkey, I'm done. Oh, I thought you were going to hit that cheers button. Or they'll wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm never going to hit my wife anymore. No matter how many insults she sends at my way, I am not laying hands on that lady of mine. Cold turkey, stop. You know, if that habit is there, you got to stop a cold turkey before the cops arrest you. That kind of habit, you go to jail. So cold turkey is the only solution, right? Anyway, just to make it funny. Yeah, so some habits you can easily stop without any reference to anything. You just stop. You know this is something you can stop. You stop. There are some habits that will take a long time. You know, incremental changes in your lifestyle would help you to stop. You know, like if you overeat, you are somebody who is every time you are eating, you know, one day saying that I'm not going to eat this meal anymore may be so hard. You know, you may decide that, you know what, I'm going to stop. I'm giving myself 6 months. In 6 months' time, I'm not going to eat the starchy food anymore past this time of the day. Or I'm not going to overeat anymore and I'm starting this way. That may be the way you go. Some people will just stop cold turkey, as we're saying. That's it. They're done. Nothing else to argue about. And so it depends on the willingness of that person. It depends on the strength of that person. And it depends on the complexity of that particular behavior. Like Gifty said, a complex behavior like a complex behavior
Drugs.
like drug use may not be easily stoppable. You may need treatment. Some people have to go and get medications to replace the cravings that they have. And so if you just say, I'm stopping this cold turkey, you may actually not be able to make it. And it's okay. The most important thing is you decide you are stopping. How you stop it, it doesn't matter. Everybody is different. So stopping the bad behavior is what you want. But how you stop it is between you and God. It may take some people one day, cold turkey, I'm done. It may take some people 1 year for the same habit, but everybody is different, as she said. So I
So
feel
it
that's
doesn't make one better than the other,
it
right?
doesn't.
As long as you are willing to stop and to
As
quit.
long as you're willing, you know, just to even make it more lively, in our practice, I've seen people prescribe medications to stop smoking, and some people have quit smoking 5 times. They quit.
They start from the step one, then they
Yes,
come back again.
they quit. They go through all the steps, and then they quit. But soon after that, they come right back to smoking, and they get prescribed again, and then they quit. The good thing is that they are still trying. You know, the person that said, "Oh, I quit one time and I'm still, I wasn't able, so I give up." That person has actually failed. But the person who says that, you know, cold turkey didn't work, you know, even using medications that don't work the first time, but I'm not stopping here. This is a behavior or a habit that I want to stop. I don't want to be a smoker anymore. And so I will try until I stop. And people do it multiple times, but eventually they'll quit and they'll quit for good. So, as we're saying, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. The most important thing is you made your mind up that I am stopping it by hook or crook. Whether it takes me a day or years, whatever it is, I am going to make sure that I stop this bad habit of mine.
Yeah.
And that is how you fight life.
So with the smoking, the gradual way will be like, okay, so I do 5 packs a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can cut down to 4 packs a day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will do 3 packs a day. Then I will do 2 packs a day. So it's a
It's a
gradual
gradual
approach.
process.
And by doing that, that will help you to be able to quit instead of just doing cold turkey. But if you are a world person and maybe you've seen the way that your liver look like, maybe you went to the doctor's office,
Mm-hmm.
right? You did a scan and they showed you
Mm.
how your lungs look like.
Mm.
They show you maybe a healthy lung and a smoked person's lung, and you compare the two, or you've learned from somewhere, you've realized that, oh my God, so my lungs is eventually going to be like this. Okay, I quit, you know. So maybe getting information or being informed will help you to just stop right away. So sometimes it's a gradual process, but maybe getting information out there can also help you to do cold turkey
Definitely,
quitting.
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so we are running out to the hour mark, and it's getting fun. It's getting fun and fun. We're still waiting for your questions, but I think we have a few more questions. I don't know if we can finish this. We are on the number 6, so let's see if we can do a couple more questions. And while we wait for you also to bring your comments and your questions. All right, so the next question is, what role does willpower play? Oh, I think we touched on this. What role does willpower play in either building a new habit or new lifestyle and or stopping a new habit, or stopping an old habit or an old lifestyle? Willpower. I think willpower is the best. The strong-willed person always wins out. Now, being strong-willed doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stop something cold turkey or at once. Being strong-willed means you carry through with your decision to do something new or to stop something old. That decision, whether you waver around it, whether you will hang on to the decision until you meet some challenge and you give up. If you give up, then you are not going through with exactly what you want to do. So being strong-willed definitely depends on what you have decided and how long you stay to make sure that actually comes to fruition. I don't know if I just
Yeah. So like yeah. So if we have a saying that goes like, when there is a will, there is a way. So
my goodness.
if you are willing to do something different, definitely you find a way to make it happen. So what role does will power play? It plays a very important role. There should be a will so that you find a way to stop that habit. And not only the willpower that is important, you also have to have strategy or things around that will help that willpower, right? So, like, if you want to eat healthy, you don't have to keep going to buy the unhealthy stuff in your household. That wherever you turn, you have all these unhealthy things around you. Then you are depending only on your willpower.
You'll be tempted.
I'm so a willed person. There is no way I'm going to take it. Maybe you will be able to do it today, but tomorrow you may fail.
Be tempted,
yeah, because of the surroundings. So the willpower is very important, but the things around you also help make your desire met. Because if your friends, everybody around you smokes, and you are like, oh, I have this willpower, I'm going to stop smoking. And everywhere you turn, you see the cigarettes all around you. Or maybe some people even fall with the smell of the drugs that people use. So why are you still in that environment? Because you have the willpower to stop? No, you can remove yourself from that environment and that will help you. So the willpower is there, but the things around you also support that willpower so that you become successful.
My goodness. So willpower plus surroundings or your environment, as our brother Mike asked, willpower with the environment. Willpower without the environment may be very hard. So yes, a strong-willed person surrounded by the supportive environment and support systems will be the one that can easily overcome. Now, we're going to go to the next one. We're going to run through the next few and then we will call it a night. The next question is, how long does it take to break a habit? I think we've touched on that too.
Yeah.
How long does it take to break a habit? And if I am going to touch that, I would say it takes as long as you are willing. It should take as long as you are willing. So we just talked about will, right? So if you are willing, then let it take for as long as you are willing to make it go, to let that thing go. If you give up, then of course, that's the timeline. So I think it could take a day. It could take 21 days. I think you had some statistics, right?
The study shows that it takes 21 to 66 days to
form.
build, to form a habit. Yeah. So if you are breaking it, then whatever you're doing in place of that, it takes a little bit for you to be comfortable or get getting used to the new habits. So 21 to 66 days, according to the studies.
Definitely. So yes, how long does it take to break a new to break an old habit or to build a new habit that you want to do? You want to be a regular exerciser. You want to be somebody who takes out their wife more consistently, have a better marriage, whatever it is. We're talking about healthy lifestyle. Healthy. I'm talking about healthy, healthy marriage, healthy relationships, healthy children, healthy everything. It takes 21 to 66 days to make that particular habit something, that particular behavior or action, something that you can call your habit or your character, as Brother Mike pointed us to last time. So if you want to say that I am this new best version of me because I exercise regularly, if you haven't done it beyond 21 to 66 days, it is still a work in progress. It is still a work in progress. But the good thing is that progressing will make you reach there. At one day you'll be say that I am a regular person, I'm a regular exerciser. If I don't exercise 1 week, I'll be sick. Oh man.
Wow.
Or one day I don't feel good when I don't exercise. That means it's become part of you. But it takes at least 21 days of doing consistent, behaviors in the particular line of action that you want to grow in to be able to reach there. And so, yes, it takes time, but the longer it is, actually, the better it is. Because for me, I think that is when you can say that it is you actually, because you've done it over and over. I remember during our past or previous videos, we say that to form a habit, you have to do it consistently over and over and over until your brain does it without you knowing. I use the analogy of opening my car garage. I open the garage and I don't even remember when I closed it because I've done it every time I get out of the house. I push that button. And now when I go, I'm all the way up. Did I close that garage? And my kids will say, yes, Dad, you did it. Why? Because I've done it so many times that my brain doesn't even think about doing it. And so that is what you want your habit to be. Do it over and over until your brain makes you not even know you are doing it. It's effortless. And so it's the consistency. That is what it is. All right, so we'll go to the next question. Yeah, we will be leaving soon, so don't leave yet. The next question is, what can I do if I experience relapse or setbacks along the way? That's another very good question. I like that question. What can I do if I experience setback? You want to take that?
Yeah. So I think experiencing relapse and setbacks is part of the process, you know. So it's something that you're doing. So if you encounter setbacks, it should be something that you are using to learn so that you'll be like, oh, I did not succeed this time. Okay. So what can I do differently? So it shouldn't be a reason to stop trying. It should be something that you are looking up to say that, oh, I was not able to do it this time, but what can I do differently? So, what you can do is like you can go back and analyze your strategy. Oh, why did I fail? Why did I do it differently? So, by looking at it, it's help you to try again and succeed next time. So, we have this saying that if at first you don't succeed, try again.
My goodness.
Right?
My goodness.
So,
My goodness.
you shouldn't let relapses or setbacks make you stop doing what you really want to do. You have to learn from your mistakes and work with it. Try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And by doing it consistently or knowing the reward or the results, or like feeling that, oh, if I keep doing it, this is what I'm going to get. Don't give up. Just keep trying again and learn from your mistakes and do it better next time.
My goodness. That was good, honey. That was really good. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Then your courage would appear, right? That's I think I
It's
know
a
a little.
saying. No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a poem
It's a
actually.
poem.
That is powerful. That is powerful. That is really, really, really good. So relapse and setbacks are means for you to go back to the drawing board. It's a learning opportunity for you. If you relapse, if you are trying to quit, being using drugs, and you relapse, you go back to the drug. Don't feel discouraged. It is part of the process, like she said. And that's another thing I learned from what you said. Part of the process of growing is to fail and go back to the drawing board. So if you have a setback, yes, that is good. Remember, if you hadn't even started, there wouldn't be a setback. You would have been in the problem proper. So setback is just a comma along the path to getting successful. And so if you have a setback, no matter what you're trying to change in your life, no matter what new version of you are trying to create out there, if you have a setback, move back to the drawing board, review your actions and see where you went wrong, and then regroup, and then go back and face that lifestyle again. Because it is you. If you don't pass, who is going to pass? Succeeding is in your hands. It is made for you. Nobody else is better than you at overcoming your own problems. I can't fight your battles for you. I got my own issues. She got her own.
Yeah.
Everybody got their own. But we all fighting ahead to overcome and become the better versions of ourselves. And so if at first you don't succeed, try again. Don't give up. Don't give up at all. Go back to the board, learn, and see where you went wrong. And the next time you try it again, it's going to become easier because you have seen your mistakes. You have known where you went wrong. And so it becomes better. The person who has failed is the one that fears, to try in the first place. But if you try and you fail, it's just a setback. It is not the end. It is a setback, as it means. And then you go back to the drawing board and you do it. So that's a very, 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 very important thing to learn on the way to building a better you, whether it's health-wise, whether it is your character, whatever change you want to have, whether it is your diet, whether it is your exercising, whether it is your eating habits, whether it is your relationship with your children, with your wife or with your husband, whether it is your relationship with colleagues at work, whatever it is you are trying to change for the positive. If there are setbacks, remember you are not the first. Some people face the same thing, but they walk through it. And so you can make it. And that is a very important.
And also, I think with the addiction, we never talked about pornography.
Oh, yes.
But I think pornography, a lot of people are becoming addicted to it over and over, to a point that they really want to stop. But the internet and being online and being on social media and having a lot of friends over there has become very difficult for them to stop. So if you are willing, if you desire to break that habit, you have to know the triggers, like we talked about. What makes you want to look up porn? What makes you want to do that? So if you know the trigger, then you know how to behave. So you know that whenever you are alone with a computer, your chance of going to that website is very high. So what can you do differently? You have to access the internet around people. If you are married, maybe around your wife. If you are in a relationship, around your girlfriend or your boyfriend, there is no way that they will agree with you. So that can be a checkup. So you have to find ways and means to try and break that habit. Otherwise, you become so addicted to it that it affects your quality of life. I think that's what we talked about. What makes a habit dangerous? As long as it affects your quality of life, it makes it dangerous. So you should find ways and means to break that habit by trying. If at first you don't succeed, like we said, try again. So if you feel like the friends that you have on social media, they are sending you such things, unfriend them. Get rid of them. Find ways and means, analyze your strategy in such a way that you put yourself in a position that you don't fall back to that habit. Because if you continue, it's affecting a lot of marriages, it's affecting a lot of people, it's affecting a lot of our relationships. So you should find a way and means to break that habit.
And you can always seek for help. Sometimes it's so bad that it's not easy to just one day wake up, like we're saying, to break a habit called turkey. You know, the weakest person is the one that does not seek for help when they know that they are out of control. They cannot help themselves. Seek for help. There are professionals out there that can help you. You know, we are just giving you these guidelines as do it yourself. But when it comes to it, when you are in a place where you cannot really control it anymore, but you know that you need to break that lifestyle, especially when it comes to pornography, seek for help. You know, there are counselors out there, there are pastors that are going to help you with prayer. There are, social workers. There are always people who will help you. Don't fight those battles alone. It is not easy to fight certain battles alone. And you are a better person when you seek for help than to wallow in weakness and continue to look down on yourself. No, it's not you, it's an addiction. And like we said, addictions need help sometimes to overcome. And I know that it's not easy to trust people with certain things like this, but I'm telling you, there are also people who you can trust. Even among your own colleagues, there are people you can trust. You don't fight certain battles alone when it becomes unbearable. And don't feel like you are helpless. There is help there. There is help there. Especially when you are, religious and certain things come your way. If you don't take care, you be like, I give up. No, don't give up. There's always help. There's always help. Just trust people. Trust people. If you need help, assistance in certain things like this, and you want to talk to us, you can follow us, email us. You can go to our site or wherever you want to find us. Go to our Facebook, our YouTube sites, send us a private comment or whatever it is, and we'll be able to link you up with people who can help you. But we don't want you to struggle through life and give up. Continue to fight these battles, and until it's over, it is not over, because you are a champion, you are a winner, and I believe that you are better than what you think you are. You just have to see it and then roll with it. And so that is where we are going to hitch our show for today. It's been a very nice show. Trust me, I have really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure how a Q&A show was going to be like, because we are always coming out there with new information. But at least for those who are watching, you can tell that we are actually enjoying ourselves today with all the wealth of knowledge we have shared with these questions that we have. And if you're watching later, don't forget you can still send your questions. You can still comment. You can still, like and share and all that good stuff. If you are not a follower on Facebook, you can follow us. You can give some stars. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe. And wherever you are, just support us one way or the other, and we will appreciate your support. And you can also go to our website and buy some of our merchandise. Some of the stuff that we talk about have been engraved in t-shirts and caps and stuff like that. So when you wear them, you will remind yourself that we talked about stress. There's relax on here. All right. So that is where I think we want to hitch the show for today. I don't know if you have any last minute things to.
I'm good.
You good? All right. So with that being said, then we will say, beloved,
we
we
wish
wish above all things
that
that
you
you prosper
prosper
and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you next week, same time. God bless.